From Triumph, the streettwin 900 versus the Scrambler 900. The pros, the cons, a quick comparison. Which one is right for you? I believe the answer may surprise you. Let's get on into it. A nice down and dirty size comparison. We're not going to get into specs specifically because you can just find that on the internet, but for reference, I am 5'11". I have a 32-inch inseam. I weigh about 185 pounds, size 12 shoe, and a strong 6.5 to 7 when we're talking about attractiveness. You'll see in these videos that the Scrambler 900 does give you more room to stretch out and reach kind of everything. That does come at the cost of the bike being taller and wider. It is overall a bigger machine. The streettwin 900 comparatively is smaller. Everything's more compact. The reach to the ground is a little easier. The bike is thinner and more tucked in. You feel more racy versus kind of feeling a little bit cruisery on the Scrambler 900. Both of these things do have their place. If you are going to be doing big miles, hitting the highway, doing some like touring with your motorcycle, the extra room on the Scrambler 900 and the overall extra comfort will really be a nice asset. But if you're going to the canyons, you're going to the twisties, you're trying to get your street Rossi on, the Street 900 is going to be really, really nice for that. The chassis is sportier, the tires are more up for the job, and the compact dimensions really kind of give you that tucked feel. There's way more pleasant in that situation. I've had both bikes in both situations, and I can say that hand on heart, the Scrambler 900 is more comfortable, but the streettwin 900 is a lot faster, a lot sportier, and just a lot more fun in that regard. All right, so around town manners. I have been using the streettwin as my grocery getter for a bit now. One, because it has luggage on it, but two, because the route I take to the grocery store has some fun sweeping turns, and this bike is just nicer on them. It really is. The chassis is just so flickable. It feels way racier than it has any business feeling, based on the way it looks and based on its price point. I really do want to push this motorcycle. Every time I go out and ride it, I take turns a little bit faster and I corner a little bit harder because it just brings it out of you. It makes you want to ride it aggressively. It really reminds me of the speedtwin 1200 that I tested recently, but the cool thing about this one is the engine being a little bit more docile is just way more forgiving. I think this is a really great chassis and engine package for a person that's trying to just kind of hone their skills a little bit. I don't want to necessarily say a beginner bike, but like as a second bike, I could see somebody really thriving with this. So how is the Scrambler 900 around town then? Honestly, still really good. If I was gonna give the Street 900 a plus around town, this bike would probably get a B plus. There's just a couple little features that make it really good off-road that also make it a little bit worse than that bike on-road. And the main one is that front wheel. The bigger front wheel on here really does help it get over like obstacles and whatnot, but in town it turns in a little slower. It just handles a little bit worse. And then you got the semi-knobby tires. Again, really good for dirt, not as good on the street. Are they bad on the street? No. I do not want you to think this bike handles poorly on the street. It just handles worse than that bike. And then you could also kind of say the taller handlebar. It puts you in a more commanding seat traffic position, but it doesn't give you like that feeling of like slaying the turns. You don't want to just keep switching lanes just because of the feel of it. I tend to pick a lane and just hang out there, you know? I tend to want to ride this bike like I would a cruiser where I see a straightaway and I just get on the throttle and just launch. Like a nice straight pull is what is really fun on this motorcycle, whereas on the Street 900, it is more fun to keep switching lanes. It is fun to switch direction a little bit and lean it in, you know. This bike, I just want to ride that torque curve, not necessarily depend on the chassis for my fun. Neither of these motorcycles is that incredible on the highway, if we're being honest. They have 5-speed transmissions and the gears are fairly short, so you can't like really drag them out and kind of drop the gear and then get your revs down. They're kind of high up in the rev band when they're at highway speeds. It's completely fine. I did about 1,000-ish miles in 2 days on all highway on the Scrambler, and it was totally fine. I didn't mind it one bit. The one addition I would say on that bike that it needed was some grip puppies, but I think every bike needs grip puppies. They just eliminate so many of the vibrations, like why not have those on there? This bike, the Street Twin here, I haven't spent a lot of time on the highway with it because again, I don't really love being on the highway, but it's doing it fine. I do feel like, again, like I'm in that kind of racy or seating position, so I'm more inclined to try to do some passes than I would be on the Scrambler. On the Scrambler, I'd probably be over in HOV, which you're allowed to do in Georgia. I'd be there, probably just cruising with one hand on the bars, just leisurely going. This, I feel like pushing the pace a little bit, as I said, on like the surface street portion of this video. I will kind of try to get around cars. I will do a little bit more kind of work, I suppose, but neither one is great at it, so it's kind of like trying to decide which baby is stronger, you know? My baby is stronger than your baby. Neither one is great at this, but both can do it just fine. If I had to do it for hours on end, I would absolutely pick the Scrambler just because I would be able to stretch my legs out a little bit more. But if I was doing it in like rush hour, really kind of battling some traffic, I'd pick this bike. So pick your poison. Either one is good for kind of a different reason. Neither one is perfect. I'm gonna get off here because I don't actually know where I'm going. Woo! Oh dude, there's like some deer here. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad my camera's on. I am on a trail in the woods and I'm following deer right now. This is so epic. Holy shit. They're like staying on the trail, 5 of them. All right, they just cut off into the woods. So sick. I just got a good bit of trail riding in. I did that so I could decide if I could only have one motorcycle, if I could only have access to one of the 2 bikes, if I could only own one of the 2 bikes. I do actually only own one of the 2 bikes. I own this bike, the Street Twin 900. Now that they call the bike the Speed Twin 900, and it's so confusing to me, but the other 900, that one actually belongs to my lady. So I have access to borrow it whenever I want, but this is the bike that I actually purchased. And I was kind of riding both back to back, swapping all day long, trying to decide if I could only have access to one, would I still pick this one or would I have that one? And I can honestly say I would still pick this one. And there's a few reasons. I am an adventure rider. I love ADV bikes. I love that style of riding. I like going down trails like I just did. I like eating highway miles. I like back road bombing. I like doing it all. I like having a jack of all trades. And I don't, however, like the way adventure bikes look. So I rode the Tiger 900 and it was amazing. That engine is a dream, but I hate the look of it. So I then started looking at the big Scramblers, which are cool. They are cool, but another thing I don't love about that style of adventure bike or dirt bikes in general is really tall seat heights. I like putting both my feet down often. I am perfectly fine riding tall bikes. I've ridden a lot of tall bikes, but I just enjoy it less. So this kind of marries all of the features I'm looking for. I can go off-road, I can go down the highway, I get this engine that I loved in the Street Twin 900, but in a kind of a compact, low seat height package. I do like that Street Twin 900 a lot. It's honestly why I bought this. I found myself riding that bike more than I was riding my own stuff. So eventually it became clear that I was enjoying that package and I needed something of that sort. And this is it, man. For me, this is the bike, but it may not be for you. You may not have any interest in going off-road, and you may not be doing big highway miles. If that's the case, absolutely buy the other one and save yourself some money. You will not regret it. It handles like a dream, so you'll have a really good time. Another thing to consider is how big are you? If you're smaller, you might just enjoy that bike more because it is more compact. This one is a little larger in every way, but on the other end, if you're bigger than me, again, I'm 5'11", 32-inch inseam. If you're bigger than me, don't even consider the Speed or Street Twin 900. The bike is too small. Like, I really feel like I'm maxing it out. And on this one, I don't have that feeling. I feel perfectly normal on this. So that's why it is and probably forever will be my choice. Unless they come out with something brand new and crazy exciting, I think I'm going to have this bike for a really, really long time. I've had it for about a month now, and it's got about 2,000 miles on it. So clearly I'm using it. But I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I am also sweating balls in my helmet. So I will see you guys on the next one. I appreciate you coming with me on this journey. If you have any questions about either bike, drop them below. I try to answer every single comment I can. And last but not least, have a really great day. I appreciate every single one of you. Peace.